I had been watching the battle intently, but I couldn't help but get up from my chair when I saw it halfway. Blasted by magic tank fire, Gobta's men were knocked out. Exposed to the massive magic, Gabil's men were beaten down one by one. The fighting intensified and casualties began to emerge. No, we had expected casualties. It's been expected, but perhaps I've been optimistic. Thinking we're going to win no matter what. Benimaru is so confident, and Master Raphael, the King of Wisdom, doesn't say much, so I don't think there will be any problem with thinking too good of everything. Yet reality is a variance. It's no wonder. After all, we are at war. How can one take victory for granted when there are absolutely no casualties on our side? Knowing that I'm thinking too much, I'm now furious and anxious at the same time. At this point, Benimaru spoke to me with a bland expression. Please, sit down, Lord Rimuru. These are all to be expected, no questions asked. Hearing that, something inside me seemed to explode. I say, there's already a victim. Wouldn't it be better for me to cover them with Megiddo as well? No, the conclusion has been drawn on that. The Megiddo does work, but the conclusion is that even that would be pointless. Benimaru is so doubtful about its effectiveness that even Diablo denies it. There seem to be several reasons. First of all, having begun to leap onto the stage as a nation, one cannot always look to their demon lord, that is, me, for support. The Demon King must protect the magical creatures underneath, but it was the duty of those ministers to guard the country, so asserted Benimaru. If one does not have the self-awareness to treat the Jura Tempest Federation as one's own country, and does not possess the will of his motherland to be protected by one's own hands, then one is not qualified to live in this country. The other subordinates think so too. Lord Rimuru cannot be left to carry everything alone. Shuna once said so. It made sense to me to hear it too, and I was amused at the time. The above is the first reason. The second reason is the weakness of the Megiddo pointed out by Diablo. This Megiddo is a very beautiful magic. No need to expend too much energy in exchange for high power. It is very versatile and easy to use. But once you've seen it, you'll be able to figure out how to respond to it. Diablo said as above. If you stay in the control room, you'll be able to use that trick, and if you use it this time, it'll work great. But once it's seen, it won't work next time. Hinata seems to have said the same thing. She said that by lifting the wind to roll up the sand, this alone would make the accuracy and power fall straight down. He was also able to get advice from Hinata's side, and Diablo's intelligence-gathering ability was really not something to write home about. But let's ignore that for now. Last time I killed all my enemies. The survivors, now only 2 men, Edmulus and Raisin, remain, have been silenced, and there is no need to fear that information will leak out. It's just that there's no way to make it work this time. The Imperial generals and soldiers added up to a total of several 100,000 people. How could it be possible to silence everyone? A great move should be kept hidden. Even Benimaru said so. Such magic should not be used haphazardly. Diablo and Benimaru's opinion is as above. It makes sense to me to hear them explain it like that. The true face of the so-called Megiddo is actually a super hot concentrated beam formed by shrinking sunlight, and it is almost impossible to avoid the light just by seeing it with the naked eye. That said, magic used specifically against people must be used at critical times to make sense. Plus this time the opponent was not flesh and blood, but a magic tank formed of iron. Megiddo shouldn't be completely useless, but the effect is probably weak. The calculations of Master Raphael, the King of Wisdom, also indicated that it would take some time to destroy the magic tank. The power must be increased, which means that the focus temperature of the hotline must be focused to tens of thousands of degrees, or it will not penetrate the magic tank. Other than that, the power of the magic tank should not be oil, and there is probably no way to break out into a fire. If you can't stop the magic tanks from moving just by using the beam, you'll have to beat the magic tanks into 1,000 holes until they can't move. Instead of doing something so tedious, it's easier to blow up with nuclear strike magic. In such a case, you would have to break the magic barrier that had been cast several layers first, and then you would have to clean up the magician who was the spellcaster first, and in the end, it would start a magic war that would be mired in a quagmire. Then it would be meaningless to fight. There was no way things were going smoothly. That being the case, both handed over the command to Benimaru, and my job was left to silently watch. It was supposed to be like this. I did go to war together. My words were interrupted halfway through. That won't do. As the general in charge of everything, he could not expose me to danger. After all, the words of hero. Chloe made people care. In another time, someone killed Lord Rimuru. Knowing this dangerous man, letting Lord Rimuru fight in battle, such a thing will not be tolerated. All the subordinates were aware of the presence of dangerous people on the enemy side. This is because I have talked to people and told them that this could happen in the future. How did you all feel when you find out? As for the answer, just look at Benimaru's expression right now, and it's clear at a glance. The current threat is posed by the chiefs of the 3 legions, and 100 men who belong to the Imperial Emperor's Order of the Near Guard. There may be other hidden strongmen present that are still being investigated. I beg your pardon for our incompetence. The words were spoken by Sae. Sae and his group were currently desperately gathering information. All of this is for me. To rule out the threat that would arise against me. It's not clear how the enemy's battle strength can bring Lord Rimuru, who is the king, to the front line. The battle plan is going well, so please have faith in me, in Gobta and in Gabil. The words made me slump helplessly in my chair. The displeasure of not being able to tell whether it was chagrin or agitation did not go away. Although it didn't go away, the words of Benimaru were just too valid. That's right. Calm down and think about it. From the very beginning, Benimaru was thinking of me in order to implement such a combat plan. It wasn't just Benimaru, it was also Xian who stayed behind me, and Sae who stood next to me. Diablo didn't need to say much more, even Shuna looked at me with a worried look, which only made me realize that everyone was mentally prepared, knowing that those who went forward to fight might be sacrificed. It is not just those who are here, I am afraid even those who are fighting on the front lines think so. To use themselves as bait, they go into battle ready to face unknown threats, ready to be bait to lure each other in. Other than that, there is the same reason why Vildor, who normally always does what he wants, stays in the control room. That is, if anything, he will protect my personal safety. All for the sake of me as the king of my own country. The only person who has not made an enlightenment is me. At this very moment. Because of this, I must become invulnerable. Vaguely it seemed that a sound was coming from somewhere. Even you're worried about me. However, it's been okay. I feel sad that it is offensive to those who make the consciousness. That being the case, I must also beware. Sorry, I'm losing my cool. When I apologized to Benimaru, he nodded. Please don't worry. The victory must belong to Lord Rimuru. With a proud smile on his face, Benimaru hung reassurance with me. That's the serious look that only a major general who carries the life of a general soldier can get. Hearing that, it felt like the negative emotions like annoyance and entanglement in my mind were gradually disappearing. There has been a long time of awareness of the fact that you will die, and that you must kill your enemies. Yet there will be those who will die for themselves, and I deliberately do not think about that. I have to bear those. I would do it not just for me personally, but for their families, for the country that protects those families. The symbol of all of this is my being. Therefore, I must bear their thoughts. They deserve to be repaid for what they have given, and we must not lose the war. Since it's a symbol, it has to look the way it should, so it has to go with the show. Thinking about this side, in order to look like there was such a thing, I leisurely responded to Benimaru's words. That's for sure. Pass on my words. Is that okay? As you command. With Benimaru's approval and help, I communicated my will to all my minions. My words are conveyed intact through my unique technique, Generalissimo. Listen up, everybody. Do your best to crush the enemy. No need to hold back. And certainly no mercy is needed. Use all your strength to get rid of the enemy as quickly as you can. Pouring all of my thoughts into it, I gave the order. Benimaru nodded after hearing my words. Smiles also appeared on the faces of other subordinates. This order represents one thing. No more suppressing your strength, you can do it. Interpreting the meaning of my words correctly, the magical creatures are once again active. And the result would create a major turn in the entire war.